Good morning, WOLFNET. How's everybody doing today? Coach here with another Alpha Strike List Builder series. Know it's been a while, and we're going to do something a little different today. We're going to be blind list breaking a new list. I have not seen this. I just got this from everyone's favorite Jade Falcon fan, Tommy the Silent Sea Raven. Fellow podcaster on the WOLFNET radio podcast. Welcome. If this is your first time, we're going to be breaking down an epic list. So epic is a new format that we're kind of working on. It expands on the 350 format to 600 PV per opponent. It's played on a 4x6 map and just allows for a lot more units to be played, bigger battles. It's based off of a random main objective card draw and a random secondary objective card draw. And I will be playing this list tomorrow night, Thursday, July 11, for our first in a while live stream, Thursday Night Throwdown. I believe I'm playing Matt, so tune in to that for the epic stream tomorrow night. Should start around 8:30 Central Standard Time, but it's going to be a good time. This list was created by Tommy, as I said before, and I have not seen it. So we're going to just blindly break this one down all together today to see what we got going on here. We're playing Jade Falcons, and it is the era is Dark Ages, and format is Epic. So let's get started. Right away, a couple of things. In the Epic format, you can have a Skill 1 commander or a Skill 1 pilot. That is a rule that we've expanded on from the Alpha Strike 350 format, where you're only allowed 2 Skill 2s or 2 Skill 6s or 1 Skill 2 or 1 Skill 6. Well, in the Epic format, we keep that rule, but you are also allowed, on top of that, a Skill 1 pilot. And it looks like Tommy decided to go big with the Jade Phoenix A at Skill 1, coming in at a whopping 94 PV. Obviously, everyone knows, and if you don't know, the Jade Phoenix is pretty awesome, or Turkina. It's a Assault Mech, Skill 1. It moves 8 inches on the ground, and it can jump 14 inches with the help of partial wings. So it has a short range of 6, medium range 6, long range of 2. No overheat, has pretty decent armor, pretty good structure for an Omni Mech. It has jump strength 2, so that's really, really handy. Now, the one thing with jump strength 2 is it adds the value number on top of your TMM. So if the Jade Phoenix A jumps, it has a TMM of 1, and it jumped, so there's a +1, and then you add the jump strength value, which is 2, so it would have a TMM of 4, making that thing really hard to hit. So this thing is obviously going to be heavily targeted, just because it's a Skill 1. So I'm at long range, no other modifiers. I'm hitting with both the dice. It doesn't have a lot of long range damage, which at a Skill 1 I would probably want better long range damage. But the nice thing is this thing can jump 14 inches, and when you jump, you have a +2 for your attack. Well, if you're a Skill 1, so it kind of negates this thing to a Skill 3 mech. Whenever you jump, so that's really nice. That's going to come in very handy. Let's see. The next one is the Jade Hawk. Let's see if this works here. All right, so we have the Jade Hawk, Skill 3, 71 PV. It's a heavy mech, TMM 2, and it jumps 12. So that's really nice. This guy's a heavy hitter, so he's 770. He wants to get in medium range or short range and cause a bunch of damage. The nice thing about this is in the epic format there is two instances where light probe and bloodhound come in handy. That is in the blackout mission, which you are, it's a main objective where you're trying to either destroy 2 comm towers, or you can use your probe and try to knock it out with your equipment. You have to make a roll to see if it knocks out, and you don't get the -4 for an immobile target because of the static interference from the comm towers, but it's a really simple way to take out an entire objective. You got to take 2 towers out. The other one is the cut off the head. You have to use either visual 6 inches or a probe or a bloodhound to determine who the commander is, and then if you destroy that commander, that's another objective. I believe that's a secondary objective. So, but the Jade Hawk, always good. It's got good movement, good armor. Structure's a little light, but it moves really fast, and it's a really good mech to have in there. Let's go. We got an Athena combat vehicle. So looks like we're going to little vehicles. These guys are at skill 3 as well. 46 PV. They're a heavy tank. They move 6 track. So the T means track. That comes in handy when you're moving through woods. I don't believe you take the... or track means that you can move in woods. Some vehicles that are wheeled, hover, they can't go into woods. Tracked vehicles can move into woods. Skill 3 has a 664 damage profile, which is good. Not a lot of armor and structure for a combat vehicle, but you're making up for it in firepower. And they're, cheapish. 46 points for a skill 3 tank. It only has a 2-2 dash on its turret. The 2-2 dash means short, medium, long, so it has no long range damage. Turret means you can fire in a 360-degree radius. So if someone jumps behind this tank, I can do 2 points of damage without... or I can do 2 points of damage to the mech behind me. But it's 664. I mean... The really nice thing I like about this is skill 3 and it has 4 long range. So that could come in handy on a 4x6 map. The epic format makes long range very, very viable. So, yeah, I could see parking these guys on a hill. And I mean, if you're going to shoot at them, great. You're not shooting at everybody else. And they do 4 damage at long range. So I'm probably going to use these guys as a... kind of my snipers a little bit. Yeah, I could see these guys being snipers with the skill decrease and the 4 long range. I like these guys as snipers. I'm going to park these on a hill if I get the chance. And I have 2 of them, so that's pretty good. Let's go down to the Flamberge, or Flamberge. Let's get him so I can see him. Hopefully that works for everybody. Down a little bit. All right, the Flamberge B, 38 PV. It's another heavy mech. The Jade Falcons, especially in the Dark Ages, have really good heavy mechs that move really well. This one is... I know there's one that moves faster, but this one doesn't have the partial wing, I don't think. Has 8J, which is still good. Oh, I know why he took this. 332 doesn't look like a really good stat line for a heavy mech. It does have 2 overheat, so you can overheat him and do 5 damage at short and medium range. You can't do it at long range. You need OVL in your specials to do overheat long range. Not a ton of armor, not a ton of structure. But the big thing this thing does have is it has plasma cannons, which give you that heat 222 down in the special bar. Now, heat is pretty powerful. I wouldn't recommend making an entire list about heat. I know we've had some success with it, but it's a really good option to have a mech that does some heat, because what you'll cause is chaos on the other side. If you put 2 heat on a mech, it really hampers it for the next turn. It's minus 2 inches of move per heat, and it's a +1 to fire per heat. So you're automatically doing 2 heat damage. So you do damage and you do the heat, but the next turn that mech is minus 4 inches and it's a +2 to hit. And you'll probably end up likely not shutting the mech down, but forcing it to make a decision whether to fire or not fire. So it's a really good control option on the battlefield. And it moves, and it's got decent armor, so it can survive. But yeah, that heat 2/2/2 is what's really going to cause a lot of problems for my opponent. This guy, I'm probably going to try to get him in the rear as fast as possible. So I might, depending on how the board is set up, I might actually sprint this guy just to get him, because he's not really adding a lot of firepower. But if I can sprint him and try to get him in the rear, that 8J is going to cause havoc. He has a skill 4, which kind of, I mean, it's okay. But yeah, I'm going to try to utilize his heat 2/2/2 as much as possible. So, and he's Omni, so if I need him to carry some battle armor or something, I can do that as well. Okay, so let's go over to the second star. That was the first star. Let's do this, and then here. Let's see if that shows up. All right, that does. Okay, so my second star, I have a Fenis, Ironhold, Oro, Sokar, and a Saxon. The Fenris Eye, big thing that jumps out to me is it's 16-inch move, so that's pretty good. Has a TMM of 3. Ice Ferrets are always really good medium mechs. They have a whole range of options in their in their variants. The Eye looks like, oh, I see why he's in there. Okay, well, if anybody spots it, I just explained why Probe and Bloodhound. BH is Bloodhound. He has a skill 4. He has a short range of 3, medium range of 3, and a long range of 0. No overheat. What you would expect for a medium mech with armor and structure, especially an Omni mech. But the big thing for this guy is that Bloodhound. So a Bloodhound goes out to 26 inches, I believe. So this guy is definitely a cut off the head objective and blackout objective main piece. I explained earlier that I have a light probe on, I believe, the Jade Hawk. But this guy is definitely the one that's going to probably save me an entire turn of trying to shoot a building down, where I can just try to shut it down with the Bloodhound. It's a 4x6 map, and he moves 16 inches, so I think I can get in range turn 1. As long as I have line of sight to the building and I make my roll, turn 1 I can shut down one of those blackout towers. So this is a good piece. I was wondering why he had the Eye variant, but now I know. So this is a good piece for 43 points. That's 100% a good ad. I really like that. Well done, Tommy. Let's go down to the Ironhold Assault Battle Armor. This is a no-brainer. It's some of the best battle armor in the game. Squad 5. They're the fire version, so they are fire resistant. Doesn't really come in that often on whether or not you're fire resistant or not, but sometimes somebody will be like, well, I'm going to throw 2 heat in. Well, actually, it is good, because battle armor doesn't take heat damage. If you roll your heat dice, it will do twice the damage if they don't have fire resistant. So heat does not affect vehicles and battle armor. It just adds another damage. So it's almost like you're getting 2 for 1 damage on vehicles and battle armor. But if you're fire resistant, you just take the damage, the 1 damage. They're very slow, 2 inches on foot. They are a skill 3, and the reason they're skill 3 is because they have a 550 stat line. So, and they're beefy. They got 3 armor, 2 structure for battle armor. That's really good. But yeah, you drop these. I can tell you right now, I'm going to pair these up with the Saxons. I'm going to drive them to the middle of the board and just harass the middle, depending on what objectives I get. Obviously, there's a infiltrate objective with bunkers, and that plays out the same as with Alpha Strike 350. So if I draw that card, then I might hold these guys back to see if I can get them in that, that 1-2 turn bunker destruction. But even if not, I'll drop them off in the front and pump 5 damage into them and force Matt to try to kill the Ironhold battle armor. They don't have any stealth. They don't have a TMM. They'll get a +1 because they're battle armor. That's just how all battle armor get a +1 modifier. But 550 for 32 PV, yeah. At skill 3, yeah, I'm gonna take that every day. Really, really good choice on the battle armor. Ironholds are just great. Up next, we have the Oro Heavy Tank. Tommy's kind of in a vehicle phase these days. Thanks, Mario. If you know who Mr. Brute is, you'll know that this list is probably heavily influenced by Mr. Mario, Mr. Brute's Hell's Horses mentality. But can't go wrong with an Oro. It's slow. It doesn't do much, but the really good thing is it has a decent move for a vehicle. 8 inches is a good. It's track movement, so it can go into woods. If I have woods available to me, I'll probably stick these guys in there, and then next turn probably not move, so I can get a -1. That way, I can artificially bring that skill 4 down to a 3. 442, pretty generic stat line. 4 armor, 3 structure. That's pretty standard for a heavy tank. 26 PV. I mean, they're cheap. That's the great thing about them. The nice thing I see here is it does have flak 1-1 dash. So flak is a type of autocannon ammo. It's like a cluster, so it spreads, and it's very effective versus VTOLs and anything that uses a VTOL movement or wing and ground effect movement. So these guys, I feel like, I think he has another one coming up in the next star, but I think these guys are just insurance against VTOLs. So flak will actually, if you miss a VTOL of a margin of 2, the flak damage will still hit. So it's kind of like a -2 to hit, but in certain instances. But if a unit used VTOL movement, which is a V, if they used VTOL movement in that move, doesn't matter if they landed or not. If they use the VTOL movement, the flak will affect that shot. So yeah, this is just kind of insurance against VTOLs, is what I see. Let's see what we have next. We have a Sokar Urban Combat Tank. I have not personally played one of these. I've played against them. They're pretty fun. Again, cheap, 23 PV, 8-inch wheeled, so these guys can't go into rough terrain or trees. Skill 4, they have a 440. That's the shining light of these guys. They have a 440 stat line. So you race them in there, 4 damage. Try to get as close as you can. Short range would be best for these guys. They have a low profile, so if you sprint right off the bat, you'll the next turn you'll have a lot of movement or a lot of play. I can see these guys as just being harassers. That's what they do. You have to be aware of where the Sokar Urban Combat Tank is, because it can do some serious damage. Has a good turret, 3-3 dash. Does have heat at short range, so like I said, I'm going to try to get these guys into short range as much as possible so I can maximize my damage output. So, yeah, just a good cheap vehicle. Next we have the Saxon, I think. Oh, he's up here. Let's see. Get him in frame. There we go. Okay, so the Saxon APC. 20-inch move. What can you say? TMM4. Skill 6. They're not shooting anything. They have a 0-star, so if you really are desperate, you can try to do 1 damage. The big thing about the Saxons are at skill 6, they're cheap. They have an IT5, which is Infantry Transport 5. And 5 means kind of how many tons they carry. If you look at the iron holds, they have a car 5. Let's see. Let's try to find the iron holds again. Here we go. So the iron holds have a car 5. That means they need an IT5 to transport them. So this Saxon right here is, I mean, you guessed it, it is mainly there to carry my iron holds if I need to. And the great thing is it moves 20 inches. And the other great thing about Saxons are they have 5 armor. 5 armor is tough to chew through, especially at a TMM4. So they are very hard to hit. They're very fast, and they carry potentially basically an assault mech in the form of battle armor. So these guys are great to, I mean, you just rush them in there 20 inches. If you catch somebody flat-footed where they've moved and they're within range, you know, you just run your iron holds in there. And the great thing is what you can do is a movement that I'll try to do tomorrow night is you can move your Saxon into base-to-base contact with an enemy mech or unit, and then deploy your battle armor in base-to-base unit, or base-to-base with that same unit. And that unit that you've surrounded can't shoot at either one. They have to do a physical attack. Whereas your Ironhold battle armor can shoot the mech, and your Saxon hopefully is out of harm's way because all they can do is physically attack it. And it has 5 armor, 2 structure. So I don't know anything that, I mean, there's a couple of things that can maybe do that much physical damage, but I can't really think of anything right now. So it's a really good move. I might try that tomorrow night if Matt presents the opportunity. Otherwise, Ironholds go to the middle, and to get to the middle, Saxons are a great way to get that done. So yeah, they're just transports. That's all they are. But they're heavy transports and good objective getters. If there's something that I need to contest or do something, they can move basically a third of the board in one move. So very good, and at 19 points, very good choice. All right, that's star number 2. Let's go to star number 3. You might notice kind of a rinse and repeat here. There's really only one thing different with this one than there is with the other one, but that's fine because it gives me, you know, all the good stuff I talked about earlier. Now I have the Ironhold, the Oro, the Sokar, and the Saxon. I got 2 of each, so that's really good. The only thing different with this one is the Ryokan E. Now the Stormcrow, this guy is at a skill 3. And you probably know why, because looking at his stat bar, it's 7.62. So TMM2, 12-inch move, which is great. I get my TMM2. Short range, great, but I think I'm going to utilize this guy's medium range the most. He has 1 overheat, so if I need it, I can do 7 damage at medium range. Again, just like the Fenis, decent armor structure for a medium mech. But the big thing is, if you guys are paying attention, the E also has a probe. So that one reaches out a little further than the light probe, not as far as the Bloodhound. So I kind of need to be a little careful with my Ryokan and my Fenris and my Jade Hawk. They are the ones that can kind of, I mean, for 2 objectives specifically. Like, if I don't draw blackout or cut off the head, then, you know, the other ones are don't really need probe. But I like the fact that I have 3 options. This one, yeah, this Ryokan is just great. At a skill 3, love it. 62 PV in a 600 PV game, that's not too bad. Yeah, I like this. I like this pick. I'm gonna try to keep him in as much cover as I can because he's kind of a key piece. I think he's not as scary as the Jade Phoenix, but he is scary in the same aspect. So, yeah, I'm gonna try to. He would be a good. This Ryokan or the Stormcrow is going to be a really good late game piece. If I can keep him to round 3 or even 4, I think that'll make a big difference. Because once we get to round 3 or 4, everything's kind of damaged, and this guy can come in and kind of mop up. And I have the TMM to maybe not get his hit as often, but no, this guy's. I really like this mech. This is a complete package for the Epic format. A lot of good stuff in here. So, and the rest, as you can see, I've already gone over the Iron Holds, the Oro, the Sukar, Saxon. But yeah, just a really good list. Just to go back overview, I like what he's done here. He has this. He went the route of the 2 skill 6s instead of the 2 skill 2s, but he can do that because he's got a skill 1 Jade Phoenix A. I like the sprinkling in of the 3 skills here or there. The Iron Holds at skill 3 is great. The Athenas at skill 3 are also good. I like how my heavy hitters are skilled down, so that's good. But yeah, there you go. Total PV comes out to 600 on the dot. And really looking forward to playing this tomorrow night. It sounds like he's done a lot of work, so it should be very pretty to see on the board tomorrow night. So here you go. Here's my blind list breakdown for the Dark Ages Clan Jade Falcon list called, Tommy calls them the Dark Falcons. So yeah, be very interested to see how this plays out tomorrow night. And if you have any submissions for a blind list breakdown, I think we'll do some more of these. This was kind of fun. Be sure to join our Patreon. This is a part of one of the this is a part of the tiers where you can submit a list, and I'll break it down for you and even play it on a Thursday Night Throwdown. So go ahead, join our Patreon, subscribe to the YouTube channel, all the fun stuff. Make sure if you are on Facebook, join the Facebook group WOLFNET Radio Podcast for all the latest updates, news, fun stuff that we're doing. It's getting really close to Gen Con, so hopefully if you guys are going, make sure you find us. Give us the Wolf Howl shout out, and Charles Gideon will try to to answer you. But if not, if you're going to Gen Con, check us out. I believe we're going to try to live stream as much as we can from Gen Con, especially the Alpha Strike 350 singles, and we do have a doubles tournament going on as well. So we'll see what we can do there. But from all of us here at WOLFNET, thank you for watching, and tune in tomorrow night for the Epic Showdown, where I will be playing this list that I just broke down, the Dark Falcons. So have a good day, everybody, and stay safe.